A mother claims her son was unfairly disciplined because of the color of his skin.
He says things to me like, "Mommy, why am I so dark?"
Then, a woman billed by a hospital she says she never stepped foot in.
They're charging me for chest x-rays and CT scans, and I've never been.
And serious consequences after drug tests failed to tell the difference between legal medications and dangerous drugs. When systems fail, people pay the price. We trace the damage, expose the truth, and fight to fix it. This is Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates. 2 teenagers caught vaping in school. One of them expelled, the other sent to in-school suspension. Atlanta News First investigative reporter Andy Parati found it's because of a new federal mandate that could lead to harsher punishments to students of color and those with disabilities.
If their ears are raised like that, then they're comfy.
Nothing brings more joy to Elijah Coleman than animals.
That's a girl, by the way, and that's a boy.
Including his pet rabbits, Onyx and Oatmeal.
Like an oatmeal pie.
His mother, Tonisha, says he wants to be a veterinarian one day.
Ever since he was a little boy, I've always seen the love that he has when he holds them, when he interacts with them, and it just really takes him to a happy place.
But Elijah's parents worry his dream could be out of reach after his school expelled him last year, setting him back academically. It happened last year at Loganville Middle School in Walton County, Georgia. According to a lawsuit filed by his parents against the district, Elijah and a classmate were caught with a vape pen. His classmate, according to Elijah, given in-school suspension, was white. Elijah kicked out for the same offense.
But what about the other students that are caught as well, and they're given 2 and 3, 4 warnings? Whereas Elijah was, he was just, hey, you're expelled. That's it. Go to alternative school.
Elijah's mother says the district then took away resources to help her son's learning disability. The 15-year-old has severe attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. His education plan requires the district to provide additional help.
For example, in-school completing assignments, teachers checking in with him consistently every 15, 20 minutes to make sure the assignment's completed.
Instruction at the alternative school mostly online.
So it wasn't really a teaching environment.
According to the Governor's Office of Student Achievement, Walton County's Black population is 25%, but Black students account for 41%, nearly twice as many disciplinary actions than their peers.
It was very shocking, and anger, hurt. I see that this is not just an Elijah thing. It's bigger than this.
Next year, we have an executive order on school discipline policies.
President Trump signed an executive order in April critics argue will make things worse. It reverses 2014 federal guidance meant to reduce harsh punishment at schools like expulsions, specifically intended to address racial disparities in discipline. U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives teachers the authority now to have discipline in their classroom and discipline the person who is being disruptive. We took that away.
The executive order titled Reinstating Common Sense School Discipline Policies.
But it's really not common sense at all.
Claire Sherburne is an attorney with the Southern Poverty Law Center representing Elijah.
I mean, the order ignores decades of research that shows that Black students and other students of color tend to be disciplined more frequently and more harshly than their white counterparts. Even when they're engaging in the exact same behaviors, they tend to be punished more harshly.
About 6 months after Elijah's parents filed their lawsuit alleging discrimination, this video surfaced showing a teacher writing a racial slur in front of the class at the same school district. The district fired the teacher after it went viral, school officials issuing a statement writing, "The behavior captured in the video does not reflect the values of Walnut Grove High School or the Walton County School District."
I mean, when a teacher feels emboldened to stand in front of a classroom full of students, including Black students, while he's on the job and do something like that, it does say something about the district culture.
He says things to me like, "Mommy, why am I so dark? And why am I being treated this way?" I just tell him, "Hey, son, you're beautiful. Your skin is beautiful."
How does it make you feel when he asks you that question?
It hurts. It really hurts.
Yeah, he's sniffing.
A debate on how to address discipline in the classroom. For many students, the consequences are as clear as black and white. The Georgia Department of Education says it's reviewing President Trump's executive order. No word yet on whether local school districts plan to make any changes to disciplinary policies. While Elijah's lawsuit against the district is still pending, the state found the district violated multiple rules in handling its case, including failing to properly notify his parents when it changed his education plan. Fulton County Schools says it's unable to comment on his case, but told Atlanta News First Investigates that every child deserves a safe, inclusive, and respectful learning environment.
Wow, Andy, an incredibly comprehensive story here. Did the state find that the district did anything wrong?
So the state did investigate, and they found the district violated multiple rules by essentially not updating his parents on his education plan.
What did Walton County School District have to say about all of this?
We reached out. We wanted to know their side of the story as it relates, but because it involves a student, they simply couldn't respond, or at least they said they couldn't.
You know, there's been this long history of discourse about racial disparities when it comes to the discipline of students. What made you want to tell Elijah's specific story? How'd you find out about it?
Well, I've been covering education for quite some time. I did a literacy series, and people started reaching out to me about different types of education issues. And this particular instance, it was the Southern Poverty Law Center that reached out to me after seeing me report on education and saying that we think you might be interested, and I was. I want to say that just before this recording, I reached out to Elijah's mom. He's doing very well. He's in a different school district. They ended up moving because they simply didn't think that he'd have a fair chance at his former school district.
Good update. Thanks so much, Andy. Atlanta News First investigators are exposing wrongdoing, solving your problems, and helping your family make ends meet. Scan the code on your screen to subscribe to our newsletter and get every story sent straight to your inbox.
A Cartersville woman gets a bill from a hospital she's never been to. Ahead on Uncovered, Atlanta News First investigates the charges and how they slipped through the system.
An expensive bill sent to a woman from a hospital she never visited. When she called, she says no one believed her. Atlanta News First consumer investigator Better Call Harry found it was all because of a case of mistaken identity.
Tell me what the procedure was that's on the bill.
CT, abdomen, pelvis with CO.
Contrast.
Okay, and the chest x-ray, single view.
Lynn Richardson says the folks who sent her a radiology bill for $520 will not listen to her excuse.
I just told them, explaining that I've never been there. And I said, then why haven't you sent me the results of all these tests? Oh, well, we know you have them. I said, but this isn't me. Yes, it is you. We have your address, your phone number, your social security number.
The radiology group is in Augusta, but Lynn lives in Cartersville, almost 200 miles away. So how is it that on June 7th, she allegedly went to the ER at Doctors Hospital in Augusta?
They're charging me for chest x-rays and CT scans, and I've never been. If I'm going to have that done, it'll be here in Cartersville. We have a hospital here.
Since she got a radiology bill for tests done at a hospital, that means she's going to get a very large ER bill. Someone did go to the ER at Doctors Hospital on June 7th, and here's how Atlanta News First investigates confirmed it wasn't Lynn.
Is it possible that you drove yourself all the way to Augusta?
Highly impossible.
Maybe not. However, since the hospital listed Lynn as the patient, She has a right to see the test results. So she signed herself up on the hospital's portal. And look what she found. The hospital did all kinds of testing on a patient who has serious health issues.
Do you have any of those?
Oh, do I know?
Well, whoever took this test does.
I don't even have high blood pressure.
But there were 2 clues that proved without a doubt that it wasn't Lynn. The patient that went to the ER is 5'7" and weighs 260 pounds. She's basically twice Lynn's size.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And I'm 5'2" and way less than that.
So what now? We told Lynn to contact the hospital to report a potential case of fraud. The following day, an employee told her she wouldn't be responsible for any of the charges, including the radiology bill, if only they'd listened to Lynn's neighbor.
You don't think she could have just driven herself to Augusta?
Heavens no, she's not even a good driver.
Doctors Hospital and its parent company, HCA Healthcare, didn't officially respond to our questions. But Lynn says their explanation was that someone pulled the wrong information and made an honest mistake.
Those friends are so funny. You mentioned it in the story, but I want to double down on it. It's not like she was violating any HIPAA rules by digging into this patient's information because she was being accused of being the patient.
That is correct. So yes, she got on the portal, signed up, and if they're billing her for the results, you might as well see what you're being billed for, and then she could see.
And in the end, it really helped her solve her own case. She had to do her own digging.
She was trying to deal with the billing, the radiologist who was billing her for the scan, and that's not who she needed to go to because they were getting their information from the hospital. So always start at the source. You want to start at the hospital and contact them and say, hey, I think this is either fraud or somebody made a mistake. I've never been to this hospital, but this is a billing error, and can you please open an investigation? And that's what they did.
All right, any other ways people should be reporting fraud other than going directly to the hospital? Is this one of those times where you file an incident report, or is that a step too far?
No, I don't think if you really believe there's an identity theft, if it's a case of identity theft and somebody is using your name to, receive, request services, you do want to have an incident report, file a police report so you have something. But I think more importantly, after you've reported and disputed, lock down your credit. There are 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Do a credit freeze on all of them. That protects anybody from starting a new account.
All right, great advice. Thanks so much, Harry. A mom says she's never done drugs, but tested positive for meth.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I definitely don't use drugs.
State leaders step in after troubling false positive drug tests. When you need a drug test, you expect it to be accurate. But some Georgia labs received a warning from state officials after repeated allegations of false positive drug screens. Spotlighted in a year's worth of reporting from Atlanta News First Investigates. This is no laughing matter for Lisa Trantham, but laughing
it was really bad.
Is how she gets through telling the story. One where she's accused of being on drugs. It started in 2024 when Elisa's 7-year-old daughter had severe bladder troubles.
She had gastric issues. I had been through 3 specialists. Each one of them had the same treatment that was not working, and she was getting worse.
These x-rays show the problem. This area of her abdomen should be empty. Instead, a huge blockage.
It was like the size of a baby's head. There's no way it was coming out.
It led to irregular and uncontrollable bowel movements.
She had soiling. So I was like, I'm not risking the bullying. I'm not risking other kids finding out.
Elisa kept her daughter home, telling a school official they're stopping the medicine as well. That's when staff reported Elisa to the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services. defects, she alleges.
Stopping that treatment was to actually figure out one that would really solve your daughter's problem.
Yes.
But instead, you end up having more problems from the
Yes,
state.
and
right?
every time I tried that treatment, she was in pain, she was crying. She still wouldn't even use the bathroom for days and days.
Elisa understands why she was reported to child welfare because school workers are among Georgia's mandated reporters, employees and officials legally required to report suspected abuse or neglect. Elisa would know, a mandated reporter herself as a local paramedic.
I've always been the caller. I've never been the one called on, you know. I do work with a lot of behavioral health transports as far as suicidal, detoxing from substance abuse. Get a lot of children in this system as well.
So when defects workers came over to inspect the house and collected hair samples from Elisa's head for a hair follicle drug screen,
So I just kind of do let in the back.
the trained paramedic was not surprised, but the results left her stunned. Positive for multiple drugs, including methamphetamine.
I was shocked, and then I just started crying. I didn't know what to do. I was really shocked.
A veteran paramedic celebrated and awarded for saving lives, now threatened by accusations of endangering the lives of her children. In fact, a defects worker wrote in case notes, there's a safety threat with concerns of substance abuse, saying Elisa must have 24/7 supervision when around her 2 minor children, adding Elisa must comply with 2 weekly random drug screens.
Do you use drugs?
No, no. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I definitely don't use drugs.
But she is on these doctor-prescribed heart rate and ADHD medications. Trying to get to the bottom of the alleged false positive, she went digging.
The only reason why I knew is because I saw your other stories, and I was like, oh no.
Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered a troubled pattern of some labs subcontracted to do defects drug screens. Lawsuits, internal reviews, and complaints outline an unreliable system, the way some tests are performed, failing to distinguish between illicit drugs and legal medicine, and which drug concentration levels determine a true positive result. After our reporting, Georgia DFAC said it was beginning the process of an audit back in March. Since then, it remains unclear if that's happened. However, we obtained this memo the agency sent to its drug screen providers. All providers must immediately review whether current lab partners are certified by SAMHSA, the Federal Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or that they meet SAMHSA standards, including cutoff levels at initial testing and confirmation testing, meaning labs should do at least 2 tests to verify a positive, but also use certain calculations that measure how much of a drug is present in a sample, which in turn further confirms if there's actual illicit drug use. As for Elisa, she saw an expert toxicologist to review her case. His report validated her alleged false positives from defects labs were due to her medication. To cover all bases, at the advice of our other stories, she even began getting independent drug tests done too.
And thank God for those articles, because immediately I was like, I'm gonna go get my own test every time they test me.
The independent results, negative. DFACS officially telling the mom July 3rd they've closed the case against her.
I don't talk about it, I just pretend like it never happened so that they can forget, you know? And hopefully this will never happen again.
Okay, Sierra, it was an incredible story, but I want to know how's the daughter doing now?
She is doing much better. You know, school has started back, so she is in school. They have finally found a treatment plan where her gastric issues are being addressed. And that was a part of this whole issue here. She was keeping that daughter out of school because the issues kept persisting. So now the family is happy to report their little 7-year-old is doing much better.
All right, so I have to ask, because this is part of a larger series called Stolen Sobriety, but explain why this story was so much different from all of the rest of the stories in your series.
Stolen sobriety, as the name implies, is that there are people saying, hey, I admit that I am recovering from an addiction. So most of the families in this series, they admit they have used drugs, but they're no longer using them. As you notice in this story, Elisa, that's not the case for her. She says, I'm a paramedic. I don't drink because of my job. I don't even do drugs. And so she was willing to tell her story because she's like, if it can happen to me, I know it could happen to many other people. And that story, that series is available on our landing page, Stolen Sobriety, on atlantanewsfirst.com.
You know, you're so passionate about all of this and look forward to watching it, and all of you watching it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can listen to all of our extended conversations on these stories right now on our podcast, Behind the Investigation. Just search Atlanta News First on your favorite podcast platform. You're watching Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, a weekly hour-long investigative show with new episodes launching every Sunday at 7.